I have a question for you. Do you know who is Jeff Nippard? I assume yes. Why otherwise you're gonna click on this video? Anyhow, welcome. Today I want to point out a couple of important moments in Jeff Nippard's minimalist workout and why you may not want to do it. The first big thing about training minimalism is the following. It lacks frequency. If you want to master something, anything, whatever it is, you have to do it frequently. If you want to write a book, you have to write every day. If you want to train your muscle, you have to train it frequently enough. Of course, training twice a week, it will allow you to maintain, and we have plenty of research about that. And as Jeff pointed in his videos, we also can progress with twice a week, but the thing is, it's not optimal. And we're gonna talk about this a little bit later in the video. But every single training unit that we have is opportunity to train the mastery of each exercise. So the less we train, the worse it is. It's gonna take a long time to develop the mastery of the nerve system and therefore to feel the movement, to perform it properly, safely, and overall we're gonna progress a lot slower if we're gonna progress at all. And most importantly, why focusing on how to cut the training units, why we can focus on how can find time for you to train at least 3 times a week or maybe 4 times a week. And if you can't find 30 minutes to train for better health, to improve muscle mass, to lose some fat.
What's your life? What are you doing?
And can you imagine brain surgeon training like a minimalist? Instead of practicing every day, to practice just once a month. And then when you go to the doctor's office and he will be like this, don't worry, my approach was as a training minimalist. You get the point. The second thing is the risk is simply too big. Even the way how Jeff demonstrated in his video, starting with the treadmill.
2 to 3 minutes of brisk walking on the treadmill and a few dynamic stretches, just a few arm swings and a few leg swings is fine.
Like doing 2-3 minutes and a couple of handshakes. Guys, this is not a warm-up. Jeff knows that, you knows that, and I know that. In fact, if somebody is so busy that they can't go like for 2 or 3 times a week, this probably means they're a little bit older, probably in their 40s and 50s. So they are very good at planning their time, but also they are very bad of managing the way how they perform. So if they warm up less, the risk of injury is tremendously higher. Now imagine this scenario. You go twice a week because you don't have a time, you cut the warm up in half, and then you increase the weight that you will be lifting if you train more often. What's gonna happen? Eventually you're gonna get injured. You're gonna stop there, and let me tell you, if now you're training twice a week, year down the road you're gonna train once a week, or most probably you are not going to be training at all. And remember, warm up, it doesn't mean to shaking hands around. It's preparation for the actual workout, but the warm-up is the actual phase of smart workout. 1/3 of the workout have to be progressively warming up the body, then warming up the movement, warming up the nerve system, the breathing, and slowly but surely you're gonna get to the first working set. Cutting everything at half, it's gonna limit the amount of weight that you can perform, the amount of lactic acid that you can buffer if you're doing a little bit higher reps. In other words, it's a half-ass job. And number 3, is we are simply wasting time. If you are in your 20s, 30s, 40s, you need 3 to 5 years of optimal training to develop the physique. But if you train half that, what's gonna happen? At best, you're gonna grow half of your potential, but I assume it's gonna be even less because of the things that I explained earlier. Everything, it's breaking in half. This simply means that you will be lying to yourself. I think it's gonna be a lot smarter to focus and find another time for another training unit, training something basic like a full body 3 times a week, just because even if you do it with a little bit moderate weights, the volume is gonna be there, but you're gonna frequently train the same movement, same pattern, and this is going to bring you again mastery and a lot of muscle mass. Number 4, the less you practice, the less modalities of each and every exercise you're gonna find to work best for you. Yes, there is all basic exercises and assisting exercises, but for everybody there is specific exercise or movement that fit best. For example, somebody like to do squats, other guy will like to do leg press, or somebody like me, or even like Jeff, as far as I watch his videos, he really like to do hack squats. So if you train like twice a week, and imagine you skip one of the workouts, what's gonna happen? You end up with once a week. You have 52 weeks in a year. So if this happens a couple of times, you're literally gonna train a movement like for 20-25 times in a year. What's gonna happen? Nothing. Taking time to do frequency, doesn't matter if you have time or don't have time, it's gonna be simply better. And just because we can name something as a minimalist and we can strip everything down and make it sound in the video, I still don't think is a good idea, except, as I said earlier, if we are not planning to maintain. Even then, it's very important to remember the rule of maintaining muscles that we already have is we have to cut the volume that we had to 1/3 of the original volume, but keep the weights on the bar the same, which will assume that we already have reached certain level of development, of speed and strength, in other words, so we have something to maintain. But if we're just starting out with the minimalism, we are not having anything to maintain after all. Am I right? And number 5 is the worst. If we are going to train just twice a week, and as I mentioned earlier, and we skip workout here and there, in 1 year, if we are lucky, we're gonna do half of the things. What we're gonna do the next year? Probably half of that. And in my experience, for being 30 years around the gyms in Eastern Europe, in Bulgaria, where I originally coming from, seeing the people here in US for the last 10 years training, people are in the gym for a while, they train, I'm gaining muscle, I'm losing fat, but very soon something in their life happen and they move away. We have to find real reason inside of us to go to the gym and train. If this happen, and this is our North Star, we're gonna have to find time to go to the gym, to find time to train. I'm not saying to sleep in the gym or to go 5-6 times. If you're a beginner, the best thing to do is 3 or 4 times a week. Then if you're a little bit more advanced than that, obviously if you don't have a time, you're gonna bring another workout or something like that. Still keep it minimal, but still you have to follow the best practices, because one thing that is a major limiting factor for us is time. We can grow as fast and as best in our 20s, in our 30s, and our 40s. I'm 42 now, and I'm telling you, the things are getting harder. Even if I was training consistently for so long, the life is bringing more and more challenges on the daily basis. The energy, you know, the recovery is worse. So it's not ideal right now, for example, to start and train like a minimalist, because I can tell you, I will reduce my energy expenditure. The stimulus is gonna be worst that I'm going to do. Yes, the recovery is gonna be better, but even with 4-5 times a week, I'm getting fatter because my metabolism or probably my movement on a daily basis are less, but it's harder to maintain the leanness of the physique. I'm not saying it's possible. Therefore, my advice is gonna be try to manage your time first before, in the last resort, you apply something like a training minimalism. I want to tell you something. I'm a big fan of Jeff Nippard. He have the best information and channel in editing skills here on YouTube. I'm not making this video to trash on Jeff, because I'm sure if Jeff see this video, he will agree with this stuff 100%, no question about it. And all things considered, I think the right question is not should we train as a minimalist or not. The question is, should we train to progress, or should we train to maintain and even lose muscle? If the answer of this question is satisfying for you, then go for it. And now you can like the video, subscribe to the channel, because I really want to reach 1,000 subscribers before the end of the year. Talking about that, I'm starting to upload more often. Comment below, and I see you guys in the next video. Biceps.